Hello and welcome to another episode of the Beyond Enough podcast. I am so excited that you're here. Welcome. I am your host, Amy Irons, and I cannot wait to dive into today's topic with you. Today we are discussing the power of voice for women, for business, and we are going to be talking about how to really start to use your voice with power, for connection, for business growth, and tapping into your authentic self rather than following the crowd, following the trends. And we're going to talk about all the reasons why women really struggle with this. And we're going to talk about how to start to use your voice in a way that is very, very powerful. So if you're new here, my name is Amy and I'm a visibility coach for female entrepreneurs who are building business primarily in the online space. This includes coaches, online service providers, and those who are using social channels as their main lead generation. And I've been doing this for a little while now, but prior to that, I coached confidence, and prior to that, I had a network marketing business. And so my experience has very much been one of learning how to authentically connect and make sales, right? Like that has been my background. And I am a reformed people pleaser. And so I think a lot of the reason why I've ended up doing the work that I'm doing is because I just so strongly believe that so many of us as women are holding back when it comes to using our voice, when it comes to expressing ourselves. For a long time, we've been told that we are too much. And the overarching theme of women who are bold and loud and powerful is, who does she think she is? Gobby, right? That's a great Scottish word. I don't know if you use that where you are, but she's gobby, she's got too much to say. And there are lots of negative connotations for being a bold woman, for being someone who speaks out and goes against the grain. And I'm sure this is true of men as well in certain circumstances, but certainly for women, we are very much taught from a young age not to be too much, right? There's this whole trend, you remember, like very demure, very mindful, and that has been the stereotype for being a perfect woman, right? It has been like, be demure, be gentle, be feminine, when in actual fact, a lot of that has led to an awful lot of us bending to other people's desires, bending to other people's will, and pushing down and suppressing our own wants, needs, desires for the benefit of others. And what that does when it comes to business is leave us feeling a little bit like we're screaming into a void, because not only are we suppressing our voice and trying to, on the other hand, grab attention and get eyes on our business, so we're caught in this middle ground where nothing seems to be working. No matter what we say, we don't seem to be getting the traction. And there's also this massive, it feels like it's really important to have lots of likes or whatever it is on our content, the vanity metrics, if you like. And we've kind of been told that, if we don't have lots of likes on something, that it's not worth doing. When in actual fact, I argue that some of my content that has been the least liked, shared, viewed, has led to some of my best clients, right? Like they have seen content and they'll tell me afterwards, like, oh, I saw this one reel or TikTok that you did and that made me reach out, but they never liked her. And so I think we're caught in the feedback loop of what we're doing isn't working, so then we shift it and we follow someone's 5 viral reel strategies, and then that kind of might get us some more views, but it doesn't actually lead to aligned clients or people who want what we have on offer or who align with us, but it brings us more likes and views and feeds into that need for dopamine, or inherently that need for community and to be accepted. And what happens is we get stuck trying to follow the trends, trying to follow what other people in our industry are doing, and we lose touch with our own authentic voice, our own expertise. That ability to really genuinely, deeply connect with people is lost. And one of the reasons this is really important for me personally is because for a really long time, I suppressed my own voice. Now, your voice is an instrument, right? You've been learning to talk since you were 2. But how are you using your voice? And how do you view your voice? I genuinely listen back to my videos now and I can't even pick up on how my voice sounds because I'm so used to it, right? I watch back my podcast episodes, I watch back my content, I put captions and whatever else I'm doing in the editing process. And so I'm kind of numb to how my voice sounds. But nearly every day in the DMs, I get a voice note back saying, Amy, I absolutely love your accent. Your Scottish accent is amazing. And to me, it's just how I sound. It's just my voice. I'm so used to it. But to other people, wow, your voice is amazing. And I think sometimes a lot of the women that I work with hate their voice. They're like, I don't sound like that. Why do I sound? It makes editing and filming really difficult. I don't like the way I sound. And firstly, you don't sound the same to everyone else as you sound in your head, right? Like, your voice sounds different to you than it does to everyone else. So when you listen back to it for the first time, it's going to sound different, okay? But this is how other people hear you. And that's okay, right? Like, when you're on this journey of content creation for business or content creation for whatever it is that you do, and using your voice in general, you're not necessarily going to like what you got to hear initially, but it's almost like exposure therapy. Like, the more you listen to your voice, the more you get used to it, and the less you actually care about what your voice sounds like, and the more you care about what you're actually saying, like your actual messaging, the conversation that you're having, the words that you're saying, and the energy behind that. Because that's the important piece, right? Like, not how your voice sounds. And there's been lots of studies done about how those with more articulation and who can really pronunciate better are viewed to be more intelligent. However, your accent is your accent, right? And if you're in the UK, we have a huge variety of accents here. And I think we hold on to a lot of our accent because of our identity. It's a part of our identity, especially in Scotland. The Scottish accent is very much a marker for who you are as a person, the background that you come from. But I really truly believe that if you let that stop you from talking and from talking up and speaking out, you're doing yourself a disservice. Instead of panicking about how you sound, make sure the message behind what you're saying is the thing that you're focusing on. And the more you do that, the more you're going to really step into this authentic frequency that will carry your words in the right way for the right people. And it is much more about the energy behind what you're saying and what you're actually saying than how you sound. I promise you, you're overthinking it. By the way, I'm sorry this podcast is a little bit nasally. I am still recovering from a cold. I believe it's been sweeping through the UK. So yeah, your voice is an instrument, right? It's an instrument and it carries so much power. But how have you been viewing it so far? Like, have you been overly cautious or holding yourself back from going and talking on camera or going and doing interviews or whatever else because you don't like the way you sound or because you're afraid of what to say? Do you go to an interview and need like every question pre-planned so that you can have a pre-planned answer? Or do you trust yourself to speak from your heart and your soul? And the real magic, I think, happens when you can truly understand who you are and what you bring to the table. And the antithesis of authenticity is scripted content, right? Like ChatGPT. Anyone? Hands up. Anyone using ChatGPT for content and captions and whatever else? That is the antithesis of authenticity. Authenticity is showing up who you are and trusting and knowing that everything that's already within you is the right thing to say, right? And it takes practice, yes, and it takes some self-reflection. But when you really tune into, I've used this word already, authentic frequency, when you tune into that, you can show up in any space and speak from your heart and know that that is the right thing to say and that it will connect with the right people. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about authentic frequency. We've spoken about how your voice is an instrument, okay? And we could go down the rabbit hole of talking about, again, vanity metrics, about how you look and how people perceive you and how you sound and how people perceive you. But honestly, we cannot control how other people judge and view us. Like, their own preconceptions of you, we cannot do anything about. I certainly think a larger part of my mission is to really genuinely help the online space have more integrity and be more genuine and authentic. And the reason is because I think a lot of incredible coaches, incredible service providers, incredible entrepreneurs are being overlooked because sometimes people do latch on to the fancy marketing, the very aesthetic Instagram feeds or websites. For me, being able to help female entrepreneurs step out of under this cloud of thinking that they have to be like these people to be successful and into their own power and their own strengths, their own brand, their own voice, that helps the online space in general become a better place to hang out. Okay? Don't even get me started on cold DMs and cold pitching. If I get another, I will get another every day on cold pitch to the DMs. It's so boring. But we're not going down that rabbit hole. We're going to talk about authentic frequency. And this is where you can start to really capitalize and leverage the universal law of attraction, okay? Like attracts like. And through my experience, I've spoke about how I was that woman, that people pleaser who really suppressed my voice and certainly waited a very long time to say what needed to be said in my marriage and got stuck in this place where you might find yourself stuck now, which is the knowing doing gap. And this is the place that we get stuck mentally in our mindset between knowing that we have to do something and actually doing it. And this is where I feel a lot of you may be sitting when it comes to your business at the moment. You know that you have to stand out. You know that you have to be more authentic. You know that you have to grab attention and show people why you are the best choice for what you do. But you haven't yet done it. And so you're stuck in the knowing doing gap. And what happens is, what happened to me, what happens to everyone, is that we spend so much of our energy, so much of our mind in that gap, in that knowing doing gap. And it saps out your soul, it saps out your energy, it saps every ounce of your mental space as you consume yourself with negative thoughts, procrastination, excuses, all the things as to why you cannot do the thing that you know you need to do. And in that knowing doing gap, what we're doing is wasting our time, we're wasting our energy, and we're actually self-sabotaging. We're self-sabotaging because we know we're going to have to do this thing, but we won't do it. And so how do we get out of that knowing doing gap? How did I get out of the knowing doing gap? Well, I used my voice. Your voice is so powerful. If you think about it, your voice is the thing that connects you with other human beings. It is the thing that you use to set boundaries. It is the thing you use to express how you're feeling. It is the piece that communicates everything that you need to communicate. And you've been using it for a really long time, but perhaps you haven't yet learned that there is power in what you have to say and that there can be power in your expression. The most incredible thing that your voice does is communicate one of the most beautiful things in motherhood, right? Like, this is your voice is how you tell your children, I love you. And if you're a mama watching this, I bet you remember that feeling when your baby first said those words. I love you. It is the connection. It is the connection. And it is so incredibly beautiful that as human beings, we have this tool for communication. And if you use it right, not only can you communicate words, but you can make people feel something. You can change someone's emotional state. You can impact someone's energy, their frequency, with what you have to say and the energy behind it. Now that is power and expression. To have the ability to impact someone else with your words. Oh my goodness. And with the online space, we now have the ability to spread that even further. But in order to do that, we must learn to speak with power. And in order to learn how to speak with power, we need to understand what our authentic frequency is, who we are, the stories that have shaped us, the pivotal moments in our life, the storytelling, and being so genuinely open and authentic and confident, vulnerable, honest, and having integrity. It's like that old thing where my mum would always say to me, don't say anything behind someone's back that you wouldn't say to their face. And this rings so true, right? And the reason is, this is your integrity. This is your integrity. You should not be saying anything online that you would not say to someone's face. This is alignment. This is something that is so missing, I think, sometimes in the online space. If you are going to say something in content, you best make sure that you are willing to say that to someone's face in a conference, in a networking event, on stage. Make sure that what you're actually saying comes from that point within that is so genuine, so honest, so authentic that you can say it anywhere. If not, you're going to have real problems, right? Like if you're saying one thing in one space and one thing in another space, you're not putting power in your voice. You're actually taking it away because people will not trust you. People will not like that. They will not like that because they can't trust you. They don't know where they stand with you. So part of this is just being really genuine and being able to say the same things in one space that you would say in another space and being really genuine about it. And again, like, this integrity piece is sometimes missing in the online space, but you get to be someone who sets yourself apart from the crowd. And you get to show up in whatever space you're building your business and say the same things because they are coming from your heart. And yes, they might look slightly different. Your messaging might evolve over time. Your concepts and frameworks and everything will evolve with you, but they should have the same authentic core because they should come from you, and you should be able to back up anything that you're saying because it comes from a place of authenticity. Your authentic frequency is the alignment between your inner voice, your outer expression, and how you communicate, connect, and sell within your business. When you can do that, it's like the trifecta. It's the trifecta of authentic, genuine connection and integrity in who you are and your business as a brand. So, inner voice. This is the part where we stop comparing ourselves to everyone else, where we stop listening to the noise that is around us, whether that's at home, whether that's in the online space, and we start to tune in to, okay, who am I? And how did I get to be who I am? What are those pivotal moments that have shaped me? What do I truly, genuinely care about? And what are the things that I know as an individual, those opinions, those experiences, those stories that have not only shaped me, but shaped who I am and my business and my brand? I'm obviously skipping over, right? But you get the point. So it's all of these things, who we are and what our inner intuition and our voice is telling us. And in order to do that, we have to break all of the noise, all of the other people's views, other people's beliefs, other people's opinions, societal expectations, familial expectations, messages, subliminal messages that we've been getting from other marketing for years. We have to break all that down because at the minute you're cocooned in fear of judgment, fear of like your comparison. You're terrified of what other people will say if you go against the grain. And all of that is shrouding your inner voice. Your inner voice is being completely enveloped by everybody else's opinions, by other people in your industry even, and all of these expectations that you have placed upon yourself that are dimming your light. All of these wounds, every time it did not feel safe to express yourself, every time it didn't feel safe to have an opinion. I spoke to a woman recently here on the pod who felt like she had been stifling her voice at home for that because she was fearful of there being other people blowing up when she expressed her opinion, and that didn't feel safe. It didn't feel safe to share her opinion in that situation. And there have been so many situations in your life, whether you're aware of them at the moment or not, that have covered up your ability to speak from your heart because it has not felt safe. Even perhaps at school, like putting your hand up in class and giving a wrong answer and being laughed at makes it feel really unsafe to have your own opinion or to have a different take on something. So you'll be able to reflect this on yourself. Like, where have there been those instances in your life where you have been dimmed, where you have been made to feel like this isn't safe? What happens though when our inner voice has been shrouded and clouded by other people and their expectations and their perceptions and the fear of judgment, the fear of comparison being excluded from our tribe at a very primal level, is that we start to pull back and we start to get caught in the loop of, okay, this person is saying this, maybe I'll try that. Maybe this person's saying this in their content, this style, this trend, and we start getting caught up in what's working for other people. You know, use this 5-step hack for viral views, use this, and we're just constantly caught on the rabbit wheel of using other people's cookie cutter strategies rather than reflecting and saying, what's my heart saying? What's my soul saying? And within that, you will be able to uncover so many of your skills, so much of what makes you unique and what you can genuinely uniquely bring to the table because of your experiences, because of the person that you are, because of the values that you hold. And once you can do that, you will start to speak from a much more powerful place. You will start to understand yourself so much better, and you will start to be able to project that into the world. And once you can do that, people will start to see you clearly because the fog has lifted. And what do we need for genuine connection? We need people to be able to know and trust us. So there cannot be any blockages in the way. And at the moment, you are shrouded with all of these blockages, so people cannot see you and they cannot feel you, which is the important part when we're talking about visibility. We want people to be able to feel you through your content, through your words, or wherever you end up showing up for your business. Because everywhere you show up for your business, we want people to feel you. Otherwise, you're doing a whole lot of work and it's not going to bring you the return. And that is exhausting. That is where burnout lies. You do not need to be doing 5 reels a day to build a business. You need to be doing less content more effectively. The second part is the outward expression. So this is where we really talk about your voice, where we talk about how much space you're willing to take up. If you can't see me and you're just listening, I am taking up all the space with my arms, right? Like if you're constantly like this and you feel really small, for those just listening, I've got my hands stuck to my sides and I've shrank my shoulders down and I'm talking very quietly. And if you're always talking really quietly like this, it's not very engaging and it's very restrictive rather than expansive, where we want you to be able to be using your body and your voice and really using your expression and being able to convey that energy that is within you and I know is within you. The whole reason that I started visibility coaching was because I met so many incredible female entrepreneurs and they were like, Amy, I'm really struggling with client acquisition, like business is really slow, I'm struggling. And I would say like, oh, okay, like how are you about talking about, like, tell me what you do. And they kind of, and they put their head down and they're kind of like, you know, like really anxious and nervous. And I'm like, wow, honey, like you have so much to give and I know you have so much to give. We need to give you the confidence to be able to say it with clarity and with power. And so here I am, all this time later, still on this mission. Because you are incredible at what you do. But you need to be able to develop that skill to tell people that you're incredible at what you do. It's not bragging. It's not being too big for your boots. That's a great Scottish expression as well. You can DM me on Instagram and tell me what expressions you have for people being too big for their boots, or who does she think she is? We're over it. Okay? In Australia, my friend told me it was like, what was it? Something like a poppy field. There's so many expressions for this. And there's so many cultures where modesty is valued before everything else. Well, do you know, you can be like the most incredible person at what you do. Your business isn't going anywhere if you cannot articulate what it is that you do and who you are to be doing it. That is the basis of your brand, and you need to be shouting it from the rooftops. Whatever your goals and ambitions are in business, you need to be able to show up in any space, any place, and share your message, share your mission, share your vision, and share who you are to be doing it. That is what people want to do. There's a huge shift now in the online space, in the business space in general, especially with coaches, online service providers, all of these things. I argue even with product-based businesses where people are sick of the shitty marketing, the fake marketing, the hype marketing, the marketing that has no real substance, and scarcity marketing. People are over it. They want to hear real stories. They want to hear people's journeys. They want to be inspired. They want to feel connected in this world where we are more connected than ever and yet feel more lonely than ever. Why is that? Because it's so superficial. And we're not here to be superficial. We're here for real, genuine connection. This is why podcasting has become such a huge, huge platform. People want more of you. They want more depth. They want you to be honest and raw and vulnerable, and not to the extent where you're trauma dumping. You don't need to tell everyone everything about you, but share your stories. Share who you are. It is the most interesting, magnetic part of you, and you are hiding it right now. And so when we talk about expression, I want you to think about, how do I take this inner voice that is calling for more, that is calling for the right aligned clients or customers, the people that I want to spend my time with? How do I lead and show them that I am here? That is what your inner voice does. That is what authenticity does. I speak to the most incredible women every day, and I do that because I consistently put out my authentic heart out there on the line. And I've been lucky so far, I won't lie. I haven't had a huge amount of, kickback or negativity, because I don't attract that into my life. I don't behave like that towards other people. And so the universe and the algorithm, right? They put back to me more of what I put out. But you have to lead with that. If you are growing a business, your social channels, you want to bring in more collaborations, you want to bring in more leads, what you put out is what you will be matched with in return. And by using your authentic voice, by tapping into your authentic frequency, the energy at which is your natural state, removing all those shrouds of fears and wounds and what ifs and buts and procrastination, once you unwind all of that and can shine your authentic light, oh my gosh, the opportunities that will come into your life will blow your mind. You cannot manifest them yet because you haven't experienced anything even remotely close to bring it into your mind yet. Like, that is how expansive it gets to be when you start to really, truly, honestly, and earnestly tap into who you are. It is a gorgeous feeling. I know that it's scary to do that, but don't waste any more time doing what you think other coaches or other businesses are doing. Oh, that's kind of work for them, maybe I'll try it. It's time to pull back a bit and ask yourself, who am I really, and what am I helping people with, and how do I demonstrate with that authentic frequency why I'm the right person for the job? Okay, you need to be communicating with people, and being able to communicate with power is such a key skill. It is such a key skill, and it doesn't have to be fake. It doesn't have to be like performance. If you are doing this every single day, and especially if you're the one editing all your content and producing all your content, if you're constantly having to work from a script, to perform, to be someone else, that is exhausting. You are not in alignment. If you can tap into your authentic core, it never feels like work. It feels easy, it feels effortless. And this is what we talk about when we tap into the divine feminine. It's not about doing less work. It's about feeling less exhausted about the work that you're actually doing, because you are in alignment and you know what you're doing is so beneficial, and you trust yourself to do it. You trust your voice. You trust your inner voice. You know that you can develop power in your presentation. You know that you can be more expansive with your voice, with your expression, with your actions. Start to convey that energy so that you change other people's energy. You change their emotional state. Like, how crazy is that we get to do that? And the third part, and there's a reason I'm putting this into 3 parts, and I'll tell you why in a moment. The third part is sell the truth, right? And I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it probably until I die. And this is integrity and authenticity are very similar, but integrity is the piece where we say something and then follow through with action. You could also call it embodiment, where we're doing what we say we're doing, where we are living in alignment with our inner voice, even if that doesn't look perfect all the time. But we are practicing what we preach. There's the expression. Integrity. This is vital for people to know, like, and trust you in order to become a customer, a client, a follower, a collaborator, whatever that is. You must be following through with what you're saying. And this means that if you release a course, that you must turn up when you say you're going to turn up. It means that if you're doing one-to-one, that they get what they signed up for. It means that in your marketing, you're being authentic and genuine and having integrity over what you're doing. I think so many people have been burned. So many people have been burned. I spoke earlier about this move towards needing to really know people on a deeper level and having to really deepen that connection before people will purchase, especially if it is something like a coaching program or something where you're really delivering an intimate service. People need to know more about you before they invest. And the reason is because people have had their toes burned. They've been burnt by people who use all these fancy marketing tactics and then cannot follow through with what they promised. Because they are out to make money, they are out for clout, whatever that is. Make sure that whatever you're doing, you sell the truth. You sell the truth. Do it with integrity. And we can do this when we tap into our authentic frequency. And I can give you some strategy around that, right? Like, I can give you some strategy around how we do that, how we maximize our reach in terms of looking for communities of our ideal client or collaboration, or how we start to expand our brand in different ways. Like, yes, there's a strategy behind that, but it all starts from number 1, which is your inner voice. Knowing and trusting yourself, who you are, and the journey that you're on. Letting go of perfectionism. Letting go of comparison. Letting go of the identity that has been given to you. Knowing that there is nothing more magical to us human beings than our evolution. You do not have any duty to hold on to an existing identity, one that was handed to you. This is the whole reason I started this podcast, right? I don't want you to feel like you have to sit with the stories you've been given. The stories you've been given shape you, yes. They mold you. They impact you. Sometimes they leave scars. Sometimes they leave wounds and fear. They shaped you, but they do not have to be your identity. Only you get to choose who you are and what your life looks like. And that has been my biggest lesson. And when I spoke earlier about waiting such a long time to find the strength to use my own voice, to say what needed to be said in my personal life, right? I put myself through so much pain and misery. I was not authentic to myself. And therein lied so much pain. And I do not want that for you. I genuinely want you to know that what you're thinking, feeling, what you want, your desires, whether that be in business or your personal life, no one else gets to dictate that to you. Only you get to choose. And if you are in this season of wanting to build your business, wanting to step into the identity that you know is there in your inner voice, but you need the confidence, you need the words, you need the help to figure out the presentation, to be expansive, to not feel so trapped in these cycles of the past, to be shrouded by all of this fear and these wounds and having your voice suppressed for so long, and you're ready for something new, where you feel confident, where you can show up, where you can pitch to a podcast, where you can tell your stories easily and effortlessly, and you know how to present your business to someone and how to do outreach in a really genuine, authentic way that will actually grow your business, rather than leaving crickets in your inbox as no one replies to you. I want you to come and join me for the Unmuted Mini Mind, which we kick off in May. If you're watching this back, and it is later than May, it will be available on my website for you to access. But for those of you who are listening to this before May 2025, we are going to kick off a 3-part mini mind. I've called it a mini mind, but really, over the month of May, we are going so incredibly deep into your visibility wound and into your voice as a means of expression, authentic expression, developing power in your presentation, whether that's camera confidence or pitching, whatever that may be. I say pitching because that's the universally accepted term, but I want you to know that I don't advocate for cold pitching, and I will be showing you how I genuinely connect and build my business without cold pitching, because we don't want that. It's spammy-pammy and it's gross. But people buy from people. We hear this all the time. Be more authentic, be more genuine, be more real, be more raw. But how do you actually do that? Well, I'm going to show you in this 3-part mini mind. And we're going to come together and we're going to discuss all of this in so much more depth in 3 90-minute masterclasses that are fully immersive. So do not expect to come along and sit on the sidelines. This will be something that I will be inviting you to really participate in, because we are here to shift a lot. And I want you to leave these masterclasses just with your mind blown on the possibilities that are in your future, because you have unlocked your inner voice and your authentic frequency. And we'll be doing some energy work around this too. Remember, like attracts like. And so we are going to help you step up into that version of you, to that identity that aligns you with everything that you want from life and business, and so that you have the freedom to express yourself however you desire, without constantly being shrouded in all this fear, with these wounds, with these overbearing comparisons, and this pressure and this judgment that we place on ourselves. So we're going to be working through all of that. I'm going to help you develop your key stories to share, how to share them, how to show up powerfully. And if you've ever been that woman who feels like people talk over you, no one listens to what I have to say, I'm not interesting, that's a one I hear nearly every time I speak to a new client. I'm not interesting enough. I'm a bit boring. No, you're not, my girl. I promise you, you're not. We are going to start to let the world see who you truly are and have you confident enough to share in any space or place. And I'm really excited to welcome you all in. So if you want to join, I will pop the sign up in the caption below. There is an option to upgrade as well. And if you have any questions on whether this is right for you or how it can help, please just reach out to me. I am Amelie Coaching on Instagram. I will link that in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope that this has shifted your perspective on the power of your voice, not just for business, but it is our tool for expression and connection. Give your voice a little bit of love. I haven't even spoke about throat chakra blockages. I feel like I could talk for so many hours on this topic, but I wanted to give you that little bit of incentive to start really questioning your own voice and how you're showing up with it at the moment, and explore in your mind opportunities where actually you're suppressing and you're blocking and you're self-sabotaging. And hopefully that will unlock the next steps for you. I hope to see you in Unmuted, our mini mind in May. And if this topic really resonates with you and you want me to go into more depth in any of these areas, shoot me a little message. I'm pretty sure you can put comments down below these episodes. Let me know if this is an area that you really struggle with and if you want me to go in more depth in the podcast. Until then, I will see you next week with another guest episode. We have, I think, the Self-Love Queen coming up next. cannot wait to share that conversation with you all. Again, thank you all for being here. Please do like, subscribe, follow along, and it helps the podcast more than you know to do those things. So yes, if you feel called to, please do that. Please recommend to your friends, your business besties who you think may benefit from these conversations. And I will see you in the next one. Yay! Bye!